Hi, now let us look into some key terms which is associated with DCF. So one is the valuation date. I think most of the terms I'll be discussing over here is something that I've already discussed upon, but let us just go through it once again. So the first one is the valuation date, second is projections and free cash flows, FCF, FF, FCFE, discrete period, terminal value or the continuity value, terminal growth rate, discount rate, cash accruing timing factor or the present value factor, sensitivities, scenarios, and exit multiples. So out of this, I think we have touched upon more or less all the terminologies except the last two, sensitivity scenarios and sensitivities or scenarios or and exit multiples. So sensitivities is nothing more than a different what would be the DCF value that would come up in different situations. So when the assumptions would be changed, how the concluded value around DCF, how it's going to change. So that an analysis is done, which is called the scenario analysis or the sensitivity analysis. So how the change in assumptions would lead to a change in the final value that we are able to interpret through the DCF mechanism. That is what this scenario analysis or sensitivity analysis help us analyze. Exit multiples are so multiple is nothing more and beyond to a simple figure. So suppose 1.4x. Now what does it mean? So suppose there is a ratio, say enterprise value by sales, right? Now suppose the ratio is equal to 1.4. So and if we are explaining that in terms of multiples, we say it as 1.4x. So suppose the sales of a company is 100 rupees, okay, and the multiple is 1.4x. Then what would be the enterprise value? That is 1.4x 1.4 into 100 rupees, that is 140 rupees. So that is what exactly is meant by multiples. And exit multiple is nothing it's just a simple term. It's nothing complicated. It essentially means that at what multiple the investor would be okay to exit this investment period. So suppose if the investor thinks that if he is going to get say a 2.2 exit multiple, so essentially and if the investor is looking that at that multiple from the perspective of say a EV by sales ratio, so so the investor would then try to understand that if the enterprise value is 2.2 times the value of the sales, then that would be a good time for the investment to be called a day, and they may exit from that business. So this is what in a nutshell we mean by exit multiples. Now let us look a step more on the FCFF part of it. So as we get to see, the calculation of FCFF is equal to PAT plus interest into 1 minus T plus non-cash items, which includes depreciation, amortization, deferred tax entries, and minus investment in incremental working capital and capital assets and investment. This is just to give you a representation as to how FCFF is calculated. As I told earlier, all these things are discussed in the valuation exercise that we do in our valuation course, and we can discuss in depth as to how this entire calculation is done in that program. Now how FCFF is beneficial, why it is more used in comparison to FCFE, is because when a company valuation is done with the help of the FCFF methodology, there is no impact of capital structure on the business value. So the proportion of debt vis-a-vis equity that is the capital structure, right? So the proportion of debt vis-a-vis equity in the capital of the company, that doesn't really make a difference to the valuation exercise. So that's how the FCFM method, it's simpler, as because otherwise there are systems around unlevered beta and levered beta, so all those calculation needs to be done. So I'm not trying to make things complicated out here. This is a perspective which I thought would be worth sharing with you guys. Now let us look into few other aspects as well. So projections primarily belong to the management. So who actually help in setting these projections, where investment bankers play a role. So ideally, obviously, the investment bankers do in sitting across with the management, and that's how the projections gets built. And the projections is prepared corroborating with the past data, industry data, and research reports, because every assumptions can be questioned. So there should be a fallback figure. There should be a way, a proper analyzed manner through which all this data has to be freezed. There cannot be any data just like that. You cannot say I felt like that, that's why I put the figure over there. It cannot be like that. It has to be substantiated with substantial logic, basis, data, and facts. Then the interest investment income on surplus funds should be excluded from the profits to be considered for cash flows, as the investments will generally be separately considered in the valuation. Exclusion of non-recurring items of income and expenditure relevant from a terminal value calculation, and accounting consistency, past and projected, is very critical. So these are few of the highlights or aspects you should be aware of from a valuation perspective. Now let us look on the projections part of it a step more. So when you are coming up with these business assumptions, so there are different elements that has to be looked into. Obviously, the growth in the market share, the sales volume, the capacity utilization, increase in sales price, raw material cost, manpower, and so on. Margins which are projected and maintainable, and regulatory changes. So these are few of the business assumptions which gets to be very critical. From a working capital assumptions perspective, it has to be based on past results of the business and industry. The initial working capital were provided as part of the project cost. So the normal incremental working capital and release of working capital at end of project life. So what's the extent of working capital that is required at all levels, at the start, during the phase of business, or at the end of a project gets executed. So working capital is used from a project perspective, from a business perspective, and all those assumptions related to working capital needs to be clearly understood, and it should be backed up by enough facts and figures. From a capital expenditure perspective, the figures which is related to the past management estimate, industry norms, all has to be studied. How much expenditure is required to be done in order to go ahead with some expansion plans, or some maintenance capex that is required for a smooth day-to-day operations. All these things has to be really studied, and it has to be measured in a proper way, because all these set of inputs finally have a resultant effect on the final value figure that would come. Then normal operating cash, this is also something which is important. So this, I guess, by this time gives you a sense as to what are the different aspects around valuation on DCF method that gets to be critical. I think let's stop over here, and we'll discuss the next part in the other video.